here, the world to be won, nothing to be lost. They had nothing to lose. They had everything that could be won. And so she's saying it's thrilling to think, to know that any act of mine, I shall get twice as much praise. She'll get twice as much recognition for it, because people have already climbed ladders for her. All right, last little paragraph here, and I think this paragraph moves on to the next page a little bit. So this last line here, the game of keeping what one has is never so exciting as the game of getting. Think about things in your life. Would you rather just keep what you have, or is it more exciting to get new things, right? So she's talking about how, well, I don't want to just stay where I'm at. I don't want to just stay the little young colored girl that is from Edenville, Florida. I want to get more. I want to climb the ladder. This figurative ladder of success in our world and our society, right? Let's move on to page 3. Okay. Paragraph 9. Oh, there it is. I do not always feel colored. Even now, I often achieve the unconscious Zora of Edenville before the, I'm going to pronounce this wrong, the Hegira. And this is a reference to the Islamic religion. So Islam reference, and it means a journey. Okay, for purposes of this video, I'm just gonna simplify it and say this is a journey. I most feel colored when she's thrown against a sharp white background. Think about like a black dot in a sea of white. She's saying she realizes that she's colored most when she's in that situation. And then she comes in to give us some explanation. So we're going to actually jump down to paragraph 11, because this gives us a brilliant descriptive example of how she feels colored in certain situations. So she talks about the New World Cabaret. A cabaret is a music club. And she went there with a white person, and she says, my color comes. So her color is coming with her, right? She can't get rid of it. She can't just rub it off. And so she's this black woman. She's walking into this music club with this white man. And they enter talking about a little bit of nothing. And then as you keep reading this paragraph, eventually the jazz players start to play their song. And she gets so into it. She says, I dance wildly inside myself. I yell within, and I whoop and all this stuff here. This word right here means spear. It's like a sharp, skinny spear. So she says, I'm shaking it above my head. She's not actually shaking that above her head, right? It's a figure of speech. She's so into the music. I am in the jungle and living in the jungle way. My face is painted red and yellow. My body is painted blue. My pulse is throbbing like a war drum. I want to slaughter something, give pain, give death to what I do not know. She has so many emotions here. She just needs to release them in some way, and she doesn't know exactly how. She just has all these emotions. She just doesn't know what to do with them. And then the piece ends. Look how abrupt it just ends in this one little fragment here, right? So look at this sentence structure here and how it changes the tone. She has all these long and extended sentences with all these descriptive words, and then all of a sudden, just within a few seconds, it's just done, right? So it kind of changes that tone. So the men of the orchestra, they start calming down. She goes back to find her friend. She finds the white friend sitting there motionless in his seat, and then all of a sudden he just says, good music they have here. Look at the contrast here between what she was feeling here and what is happening here, right? So different. And this all goes back to the fact that this is when she feels the most colored, when she feels all this excitement about this music that her people have created, and she just sees her white friend just sitting there like, oh yeah, that's nice. At certain times, I have no race. At certain times, she's just her. She's trying to go beyond the society's labels, right? She's trying to say, like, at sometimes I'm just me. I don't consider myself colored. I don't consider myself different. I don't look at my race. I am just who I am, and it's more than my skin color. And she feels like when she puts on her hat, she saunters down 7th Avenue. If you look at the 42nd Street Library, if anybody's familiar with New York City, it has those huge lion statues out up the front, and they have those beautiful steps. And she's feeling like very snooty, right? She compares herself to Peggy Hopkins Joyce, which is an actress from the early 1900s, and as she's walking along the Boulay Miche, which is a street in Paris. So imagine, you know, a beautiful actress just perusing down the streets of Paris with their gorgeous raiments or clothing, right? Their gorgeous clothing, and they have these nice purses, and they're just very prim and proper. And she just says, I think of myself as beyond just my color, and I'm just, you know, just fancy, and I just love being me, and I'm proud of who I am. All right, last page. So in this last part here, she comes in and she talks about how she doesn't have a feeling of being different. She's an American citizen and colored. There is no difference for her. It's the same thing. There's nothing that's separating them. She's merely a piece, a fragment, right, of the whole. The greater soul is like the whole. And then she's talking about surges being within the boundaries. Think about like the boundaries of the country. Right? And then we continue on here. I love this too. This is my other favorite line. How can they, sometimes I feel discriminated against, but it does not make me angry, right? She's just very passive about it. It merely astonishes me. How can any deny themselves the pleasure of my company? It's beyond me. It's just so funny to me because it's very confident and again, pride. There's a lot of pride here and just sassy, and I love it because it's so sassy. And she's just like, how could you just not want to hang out with me? All right, this last paragraph here. At the end of all of this, she talks about bags, these like brown like bags filled with different things, right? So she says she feels like a brown bag of just things in there, right? And then she says she's against the wall with other bags, white, red, and yellow, and all these different colored bags with all these different contents. And she discovers that it's just a jumble of small things, priceless and worthless. So notice that has this contrast here, priceless and worthless. So she's saying here, if we are all bags, the bags are people, what are the contents? Well, the contents are our personality and the things that we love. I'm gonna put a heart there for that, right? And our feelings and our emotions and all the other things that make us who we are outside of our skin color. Okay, and so she goes in to talk about these different things that you might find. Look at this one, a key to a door long since crumbled away. Well, why would somebody still have a key to a door that's been crumbled away? Well, this is a metaphor. This door that's crumbled away is your past. All of us have some sort of past. This key, these are the memories to that past. Because no matter how we try, we all have a past, and we're always going to have these memories, right? So you carry around those keys to your past. What else? Oh, a nail bent under the weight of things too heavy for any nail. Think about the pressures here, right? Some of us get pressures in life here. And we have this feeling of, we just feel like we're overwhelmed with things sometimes. We have too much weight on our shoulders. And so these are the contents, remember, of people's bags. And then she comes down to say, where'd it go? Okay, so the contents, they could be emptied and they could be put in a single heap, and the bags could be refilled again without altering any problems and without having any problems. So essentially she's saying here, I'm gonna write it down here actually. You can, it doesn't matter the bag color, the color of the bag. It's the contents are the important part. Right? That's what the key thing is here. All these things, these different items that just seem like menial things to people, that's what's the important part. It's not the color. It's not the fact that they came out of a white bag or a red or a yellow or a brown bag or purple, green, whatever color it is. It doesn't matter. You can throw all those contents into a big pile on the floor and throw them back into different bags, and they will still make some great people, right? A bit of colored glass, more or less, would not matter. It doesn't matter what color it is. At the end of the day, it's what's inside that matters. And so she says at the end, perhaps that is how the great stuffer of bags filled in the first place. Who knew? Why is the great stuffer of bags capitalized? That tells me that's some sort of proper noun. Now, I don't know about you, but I haven't ever heard of that type of proper noun. You have to think beyond, right? She has all these metaphors. So what could this be a metaphor for? Well, some sort of higher power, whatever higher power Zora Neale Hurston believed in, right? She believes that there was some sort of, maybe she's saying, maybe this is the plan of whoever the higher power is in the first place, and that the higher power sat in front of these bags and just filled them with all these different things that were going to mean something to them. And they didn't care what the colors were, because it, again, doesn't care. It doesn't matter about the colors. It matters about what's inside. And then this part, who knows? All the stuff that she's saying, she never claims to be a know-all. You know, she doesn't claim to have all the answers. It's just her ideas. It's just her thoughts about color and race and society and the way that we have set up our world, right? So I will also be posting a picture of my annotated notes, not this copy, a prettier copy, I swear. And so I'd take a second and just look through that, because there are a couple of things that I left out for time purposes, but I hit all the big parts that I wanted you to notice. All right, guys, thank you so much. Have a great day.